Hey everybody, thank you so much for stopping back by the channel. We are on part 7 of Are We Born Sinners? Y'all probably didn't know it was going to go on this long, did you? But I do have a lot to talk about when it comes to this topic, so just, bear with me. I just got a few more parts on this. But anyway, if you haven't yet seen parts 1 through 6, I'm going to go ahead and put a link to the part 1 right here, which will take you through all of them, okay? So in part 6, I left you with the question, what is it that makes people believe that this sin was passed down to their children, to Adam and Eve's children? What is it in Genesis, okay? Because again, like I state, this is the foundation. This is the foundation. And Genesis and what's going on in the Old Testament that follows that should give us the indication of what actually is going on with mankind as a result of this fall. Okay, but when you really are reading it, you don't see it doing that. If it wasn't for the New Testament, a lot of this stuff would not come together. So it's not expressly stated in Genesis that this is what happened, which I find pretty interesting. This is just a side note. Remember when when Jehovah apparently brought Eve to Adam, right? When he brought the woman to the man, it says, that is why that a man must leave his father and mother and must stick to his wife, right? And everybody looks at that as, okay, even though Jehovah allowed polygamy in the Old Testament, that was his purpose, which was, marriage was his purpose. And this scripture in Genesis 2:24 is clearly indicating that. It seems like a weirdly placed scripture, but that's what people point to and say, see, this makes sense. That Jesus is reinstituting this marital arrangement when he comes along in the New Testament. But I find it interesting that there is nothing in Genesis after this fall that lets us know that this will infect mankind or that this has affected mankind. The scripture that talks about, I can't call it right off the top of my head right now, but the one where it talks about just as through one man sin entered into the world and death through sin, and we all, death spread to all men, blah, blah, blah. Y'all know the scripture. Why wouldn't that be right there in Genesis, like after their fall? Because that's clearly telling us, okay, so now that they did this, now this has spread to all men, okay? But it doesn't say anything that even remotely resembles that. One of the ways that people are assuming that this has passed down is the fact that their firstborn son does something crazy, okay? Now, as you know, I don't take the Bible at face value, but I do believe that a lot of these stories and the way these things are laid out are there and being done for a particular reason. Okay, let's sell the story completely if we are going to, put it out there. That's how I'm looking at what this whole situation with Cain was. Okay, something to sell this whole concept of look at how depraved humanity is becoming as soon as Adam and Eve did this. Because you can't tell me that, let's start here. If what the witnesses say, and maybe some other religions may say this too, that they were very close to perfection. Obviously, Adam and Eve were perfect, right? And everybody around that time or at that beginning time was very close to perfection, which is why they were living for almost 1,000 years. They were very close to perfection, okay? So, obviously we know that Cain was supposedly influenced by Satan. Okay, even though it doesn't say anything about that. This is what we try to assume because the scripture in the New Testament that says he was a murderer when he began, and we're just thinking of connecting that to Cain. But it doesn't say that Cain is even being influenced by Satan. It just says sin is crouching, or sin is, calling at your door, or whatever, however God puts it to him when he's trying to stop him from killing Abel. Okay, but what we see, or what we're supposed to believe, I should say, is that the third human being, okay, who has had no concept of death, has not seen, murder, has not been watching this on TV, haven't seen this, being done around him with other people, haven't been playing video games with murder on it, but he's somehow possibly influenced by the devil, like I said, as many people believe, but he's that close to perfection. And yet he's going to kill his brother out of jealousy because Jehovah doesn't accept his gift and he accepts his brother's gift. And then on top of that, to add insult to injury, when Jehovah asks him, where's your brother? He's just all nonchalant, like, am I my brother's keeper? Like he don't even care. Come on now. Come on now. This is not true, you guys. This cannot be true. Not considering what people say as far as how close they were to perfection and all of the fact, and also the fact that in our day, Satan is supposed to be way more serious about what he got going on with trying to influence humanity. Isn't that correct? He's supposed to be on this earth walking around like a roaring lion seeking to devour someone. Like he's supposed to be upset because this is the last days and he knows his end is right around the corner. Okay. So he is seriously trying to influence us, and we are so far from perfection, almost 7,000 years removed. Okay. And you tell me how many of you have thought of killing even somebody that you don't like? How many of you have thought about that? Okay, maybe some of you have thought about that, but how many of you would actually do it? Let alone your own family member off of something so stupid like being jealous. Come on. So this whole explanation that people give about why he would have done this, Cain was the sin just started crouching in. Look at how quick it happened. Come on. That would make it seem we would be so depraved in this day right now if this whole reasoning, this whole line of reasoning was actually correct. We would be thinking of murdering all the time, hurting people all the time, lying all the time. We would just be, just couldn't help ourselves because this sin was just eating away at us. But is that what we see going on? No, we do not see that going on. So please stop thinking that you guys are so contaminated with this thing that they're trying to claim in these religions. Okay, this thing with Cain, that couldn't be true. That couldn't be true. That has to mean something else. I'm sorry. It has to be something else that they're trying to get across right there. Okay. Also, besides the whole Cain story, the other thing that they point to is this whole Noah's flood. Okay. This is what I wanted to discuss on the next part, you guys. Did you know that there are so many ancient civilizations that have a flood story that predate the Bible? What is it about these ancient flood stories, and how does that play in to this whole concept of sin? We're going to be talking about